CoQ10. This is another great supplement that promotes energy, but not just energy in our body, energy in our cells, and specifically it helps promote brain health. This is great for your brain, promoting energy and health all around it. It is also a powerful antioxidant as well. CoQ10.
Hi, I'm Dr. Allison Kloss. I'm one of the adjusting doctors here at Columbia Family Chiropractic. I wanted to take this time to share with you my chiropractic story and what got me into being a chiropractor. When I was 15 years old, I suffered from severe migraines, digestive problems, as well as severe low back pain. I went through the medical system. I had all sorts of tests, MRIs, CT scans, bone scans. No one could really figure out where my pain was coming from and what was wrong. And I even the last solution was exploratory surgery. Fortunately, I'm very grateful my mother did not choose that option. And it wasn't at that point until we had a really close friend reach out and said, "Have you tried a structural chiropractor?" And of course, we came from a very small town and we didn't understand chiropractic, didn't know about it, but we knew this was our last chance before having to go through exploratory surgery or for me to have to be on pain meds for my entire life, as well as just learning to live with the aches and pains that I was going through. I missed school so much that they threatened to hold me back a year. I just couldn't sit for long periods of time. So we decided to check out the chiropractor in our hometown. After 6 adjustments, I was able to start feeling my legs again. My pain went away. After 6 months, I no longer had any issues. I was able to play sports like I've always done, and that's when I decided that I wanted to be a chiropractor for the rest of my life. I was going through school, I was going through the medical route, I wanted to be a medical doctor, and at that point I decided I wanted to change to be a chiropractor because it honestly changed my life and it's changed how I viewed my health. I grew up in a wholesome family where we looked at nutrition, where my dad had a garden, and after going through the chiropractor, we fully understood what it meant for your spine to be in alignment and what happens when it's not. And it wasn't until that chiropractor, my first chiropractor, sat me down, he showed me my x-rays, and he showed exactly how he was going to correct it and what I needed to do as well to help maintain that. And so from that point on, I continued to get adjusted throughout high school, throughout undergrad, and that's when after that I went to chiropractic school. And it changed my life, and to this day I'm very grateful for that friend that reached out to my mother, and very grateful for that chiropractor who took his time to sit down away from his family to show my family what they can do for me and to how they could help me. I wanted to take just a few seconds to share with you my family's philosophy on health and how we view it. Whenever we are looking at our health, we are looking at it as a prevention viewpoint, not as a reaction. We always look to our bodies first on the inside versus the outside approach, especially when it comes to our nutrition. We're always putting the best quality and more whole foods into our bodies. We look at the amount of sleep, make sure that is always where it needs to be. More importantly, we're always looking at the nervous system. So if there's an ache or pain or sickness, we always look to the spine, and we make sure that that is free of interference, allowing our body to appropriately fight off what it needs to.
I've had experience with chiropractic in the past as a competitive gymnast as well as from an accident. However, I didn't really realize just how much some places offer until I became a chiropractic assistant at Columbia Family Chiropractic. Our doctors spend time getting to know each patient. They take in-house x-rays, digital x-rays. They have many different adjusting techniques for patients of all ages, and they have exercises for patients both before and after each adjustment.
Happy Monday, everyone.
Happy Monday! All right, welcome to our kitchen. Today is Monday, and we are going to be making, I was feeling a little fall mood, so we're going to make pumpkin pie smoothie and my fresh berry punch. So we're going to start with the pumpkin pie smoothie. All right, you ready? Okay, hold on. So I'm just using the organic canned pumpkin because we don't have we don't have pumpkin at the moment. I've already have my frozen banana in there and some ice, so we're just gonna add some of the pumpkin and my coconut cream. I am gonna dilute that with water a bit. And then we also have almond butter. Let's see. Yeah. So both these recipes are in my cookbook, Feast as a Family. And we're also going to have vanilla, just a splash of vanilla in there. Maybe a little bit more, it's a splash and a half. And then we're going to put some cinnamon, so this one. Get that pumpkin pie, cinnamon, and nutmeg. So just a little bit of that one. That one comes out fast. Okay, good job. And then we already have the ice in there, and I don't know. I think we'll put, I don't have my vanilla protein, but I do have my chocolate protein, so we're going to put some.
How do you do it?
Yep, we're going to put some, just half a scoop in there. Good. Good job. Okay. Does it smell good? All right.
Now I'm going to put this.
Okay, go ahead. As thin or thick as you want. You always put more ice in there, or do you want to try some?
Try some.
Sure. See, we got this new cup from Mimi and Papa. Okay, try it. Here, let me help. Might need to get your smoothie cup. Okay, you want to grab your smoothie cup? You can also throw in all kinds of other things. You can put green powder in there. You can put spinach, kale. I would probably recommend doing more spinach in this one. You can put chia seeds, flax seeds. Those are pretty tasteless, so. I'm going to put this, do you think you can get the other cup for Stella's cup? Please? No. Here, why don't you take this usually make smoothies for them after their nap, but they're going to get it early. You got that? Okay. All right, I'm going to rinse this out, and then we are going to make the fresh berry punch, which I make a lot more during the summertime, or if we're going to picnics, or if we're doing cookouts. This is a great recipe. So I'm going to rinse this out. Okay.
Mommy, what is this?
It is pumpkin pie smoothie.
I don't know that.
Okay, gotta go tell sister then. Okay, so our next one will be, we're doing great, Callie. Hope you're doing great. We're doing the fresh berry punch. So you can use whatever berries, but I would recommend doing blackberries, raspberries, and strawberries, or blueberries, or all four. Mine were kind of frozen, so I added just a little bit of water to hopefully break it up a little bit. Might need to add a little bit more just to make it smoother. And then I'm going to add a teaspoon of honey. I mean, it's been a while since we just got after 4th of July. I thought we'd do simple recipes today because I'm still trying to recover a little bit from that. So we're gonna you can strain these berries if you'd like, so there's not as many seeds in there. Or if you don't have time and don't really want to, then don't. Which I'm not going to. I could, but I really don't want to, and I don't mind the seeds. So this is just a cup of each berries that you would like. And what I do, I have a soda stream. I haven't used this in a long time. I actually forgot we had this, and I'm glad I remembered. So this just makes filtered water into sparkling water. So I'm just going to add the sparkling water into, okay, that's okay. Bring it over. Yeah, sorry. What was I saying? I don't know either. Sparkling water in with the berries. You can add ice to it as well. I like to treat it as I guess with a punch, if you want, you can add, not ginger ale, because that has a lot of preservatives and sweeteners in it and sugar. But if you have an alternative to ginger ale, like Zevia, that's really great. Sure. You want to make this into sparkling water?
Wait, we're making sparkling water?
Yeah.
What flavor?
What flavor, Mama? It's going to be like a berry flavor.
Berry flavor?
So I just put,
Daddy, drink it all.
oh, you drink it all.
No.
You want some more?
No, Daddy, drink it all.
Oh, Daddy drank it all. Would you like some more? Yeah.
I don't like that one.
All right.
Scarlett was like...
There you go. I bet if I added more chocolate to this, you would like this. Yeah?
Yeah, I don't like it.
She doesn't like it. That's okay. More for Scarlett.
I'll just have a
Okay,
different
so
one.
fresh berry punch is great for picnics. If you want to go to I don't know if it's more of an adult focused picnic, you can easily, you could probably spike this a little bit. Just make sure it's just for the kids, or for the adults, sorry. Okay. Oh, 4th of July. I had a great 4th of July.
This is for the kids, just for the adults.
This is for the kids. Sparkling water. Okay, go ahead. So, yep, just press down. Okay. And then, listen. So, now we have sparkling water.
What do you
And you can always taste the berries. If it's not sweet enough, you can put more honey in it. You can also substitute for stevia or maple syrup would be fine too. But for every 3 cups of berries, for every 3 cups of berries, I would dilute it around 5 cups. So we're just going to add this so it's nice and busy. The best way to serve this is really just a big bowl or one of those big containers that has a spout. I don't know what those are called, off the top of my head. But really, I would recommend pouring it into the bowl, maybe not into the blender, and then mixing the berry and the water around so it's mixed better. And then add ice. And then there you go, you got it. You can garnish it with lemons, with limes.
Can I stir, Mama?
Sure. I am so excited that I found the soda stream. We are going to probably be making a lot of sparkling water because I ran out, and just use berries to sweeten it with. I know like, a lot of these, we just do we don't get the added flavors because even the flavorings, that's man-made, and we try to go as close to non-man-made.
Okay, so Mama.
Okay, so do you want some ice in this or no?
Yes.
Okay, so put some ice in there. So I do have a little bit more sparkling water. I think I'm going to dilute it a little bit more. And we'll see if she likes this drink. Okay.
This is a cool kind of cup. Where did you get this?
You have one like that. What do you think?
Like it.
Yeah? You like it a lot? There we go. It's Stella approved. So yeah, just add ice or
It's kind
just
of
put
watery.
ice. Is it kind of water? No, it's sparkling. Sparkling water. Put it in a big bowl. I would add the fruit mixture first and then add the water or the Zevia, the ginger ale Zevia. That's really great. You can garnish it with any fresh fruits that you want, or you can, instead of ice, do frozen fruits with it. But that is what we have today. So it was the fresh berry punch and then the pumpkin pie smoothie. And that is all for today. Thank you for joining. I know we were early, but I want to keep things simple, and my fridge is empty because I was gone all weekend. So thanks again, guys. I hope you have a great week and that you make either one of these recipes. Let me know. Hi, I'm Dr. Allison Kloss. I'm author of Feast as a Family Cookbook. I just wanted to take a minute or two to explain to you how I came up with this idea, the process that was behind it, and where it's helping so many people today. So I have one cookbook that I self-published, and it was a very long process. It was a very big book, but everyone that I talked to that had that book, they were like, when are you coming out with a second cookbook? And I was very hesitant because it was a lot of work just for that first book, but I decided to just dive in and go for it. It took me 2.5 years to finish this cookbook, but I'm so glad I did because of the amount of people that come to me every day saying, oh, I've made this, I've made that, my family loves this. It brings me so much joy. And the whole purpose of me making my cookbook was to help families eat healthier and change their lifestyle so they can enjoy the food, but more importantly, enjoy what health benefits is coming from it. And I have a family, I have 2 young girls, and whenever I was putting together this book, I really wanted to make recipes that they loved and that my husband loved. And so it took work, and a lot of taste testing, which my daughters to this day love being they are my favorite taste testers. But I wanted to help other families as well and make fast, family-friendly recipes. And this is exactly what it is. I can honestly say I've made every single one of the recipes in here, and my family has tried every single one of them, and they love them. And I wouldn't have put it in here if it didn't taste good and if people didn't enjoy it. Like my favorite recipe is butternut squash soup. That's such a great one for winter and fall. And my daughters, they at least 2 to 3 times a week will eat waffles or pancakes. So you should see my book at home. It's just completely matted together, but it's incredible. And I've had so many families come to me saying how much they enjoy it for their family. Hi, I'm Carly and I'm the Patient Care Coordinator at Columbia Family Chiropractic. Before working here, I always looked at chiropractic as reactive care. When I was younger, I was thrown off my horse and I had whiplash. I went to the chiropractor to resolve it. But now, since working at Columbia Family Chiropractic, I know that chiropractic can also be proactive, that taking care of your body ensures a well life.
Welcome to Excite Medical's educational video about your spine and the DRX 9000. Over the next 6 minutes, we will break down your vertebral column, bulging discs, herniated discs, degenerative disease, and the DRX 9000 treatment. The spinal column or backbone is one of the most important parts of your body. It provides you the ability to stand upright, bend, and twist. "33 individual bones interlock with each other to form your spinal column. The vertebrae are numbered and divided into 4 main regions. C1 through C7 cervical vertebrae form your neck, supporting your head, allowing you to nod and shake your head at things you don't like. T1 through T12 are your thoracic vertebrae that are joined by ribs to form your rib cage. Lumbar vertebrae carry most of the weight of your upper body and provide a stable centre of gravity when you move. Your sacrum and coccyx make up the back wall of your pelvis. Intervertebral discs are located between each of the movable vertebrae. Discs consist of a rubber band-like outer ring with crisscrossing fibres called the annulus fibrosus that surrounds a jelly-like centre, the nucleus pulposus. Discs function like shock-absorbing springs. The annulus pulls the vertebral bodies together against the elastic resistance of the gelatinous-like nucleus. When you bend, the nucleus acts like a ball bearing, allowing the vertebral bodies to roll over the incompressible gel. Each disc works together with 2 facet joints forming a spinal motion segment. The biomechanical function of each pair of facet joints is to guide and limit the movement of the corresponding spinal motion segments. The surfaces of these joints are coated with cartilage that helps each joint move smoothly. Directly behind the discs, the rain-like vertebral bodies create a vertical tunnel called the spinal canal or neural canal. The spinal cord and nerves pass through the spinal canal, which protects them from injury. The spinal cord is the major column of nerve tissue that is connected to the brain and serves as an information superhighway between the brain and the body. The nerves in your spinal cord branch off to form pairs of nerve roots that travel through the small openings between each of your vertebrae, called vertebral foramens. This is the condition of a normal lumbar intervertebral disc. Degenerative disease is the loss of disc height that may impact adjacent nerve roots. When the jelly-like nucleus pushes against the annulus wall, it is called a bulging disc. When that gel-like core pushes out through a tear in the fibrous wall, it is referred to as a herniated disc. These conditions may impact the surrounding nerves, causing sharp, severe, and/or debilitating back pain. They may also cause neuropathy, sciatica, or other symptoms. The DRX is a highly effective, non-surgical and drug-free treatment for these conditions. The DRX 9000 machine is the world's first disc therapy that is able to target a specific disc level, adjusts itself 13 times per second, and pulls utilizing a logarithmic curve. These three factors ensure that each patient experiences an ultra-smooth treatment that is delivered with consistent precision. Research and findings by medical doctors associated with prestigious medical institutions, such as the Mayo Clinic, Stanford and Johns Hopkins, reveal that patients who qualified and underwent the DRX 9000 treatment had an 88 to 90% success rate. During a comfortable 30-minute DRX treatment, the pressure inside the disc is dropped by more than 200 millimeters of mercury, creating a vacuum-like effect, bringing nutrients and fluids back into the disc. In the case of degenerative disc disease, nutrients and fluids are brought back into the disc, increasing the disc height.
Happy Canada Day. So July 1st is Canada Day, so I'm wearing my red today to celebrate. And you will notice I am not in my workout clothes. I'm not doing a traditional workout today. However, I'm going to do a push-up challenge and a squat challenge. We're going to do 30 push-ups and 30 squats. I'm going to try to do them really quick because then I'm heading to the beach. Brittany's going to time me. And I will start with the hardest one first. So push-ups. If you guys want to do them with me, that would be awesome. Modification would be to drop to your knees if you can't do a full push-up. Ready? These pants don't really stretch. Okay. Tell me when, Brittany.
All right, let's go.
You guys are doing this with me. Great job. We've got 10 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 more. Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. She set the timer? Dang it! Okay, well I'm sure that my time was awesome.
We have to do your squats now.
Now I have to do my squats. Brittany, what's my time? 1:20. 1:20. A minute and 20. See if anybody can beat that. If anybody beats it, I'll give you a prize. Squats. This is easy. 30 squats. And go. If you guys need to modify, just do less range of motion. We've got 2 cameras. I don't know who to look at. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 20. 10 more, you guys. Woohoo! 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And that was super quick. That was probably like 40 seconds. Okay, you guys, we are back for a second live edition, and we are challenging Dr. Randy and Brittany to the 30 push-ups for time. I've got the timer right here. I'm gonna give you guys a countdown. You guys feel ready? Yep. Okay, 30 push-ups for time in 3, 2, 1. And they are already so much faster than me. Randy's crushing you, Brittany.
Is he doing down all the way?
Yeah. And so it took me a minute and 20 seconds, and Randy's about to finish, and we're 20 seconds in. Yes!
30.
Oh my goodness!
Recount that.
Oh my
Every single one counts.
goodness! Oh my goodness!
25 seconds.
They were like
We're gonna
23 and a
go back
half
to the judges
seconds. Oh my goodness. You guys stay
for you. If you
tuned.
didn't go low enough on any of the push-ups, just post it in the comments.
And I'm sore.
You guys did awesome. Give them a wave. See you later.
All right. 3, 2, 1, go. Ah! 21 seconds. We got the scream.
Hey guys, Dr. Stetson. Just want to take you behind the scenes at how we analyze the cervical x-ray. Okay, there are 4 things that we look at when we're looking at the side view of the neck. So what you're going to notice is our sample x-ray on the right and then a gentleman that came in with neck pain on the left. You'll notice in the sample x-ray, one of the major features we look at is the overall curvature of the spine. So when you're looking at the side presentation, it shouldn't be vertical and straight. It should actually have this arc. Ideal position being 45 degrees. This person measured 45 out of 45. Over here, you'll notice this person has straightened out. The measurement that we got was 8 out of 45. The second feature that we look at is forward head posture. Forward head posture measures how far the person's head has moved the wrong direction, which would be forward. We want the position of his head right over top of the C4, C5 joint. You'll notice in our sample, it's at 0 position, right over top. In this gentleman has a 45 millimeter forward head posture. This is important because it puts a lot of strain on the back of the neck, where a lot of times people will have tight shoulder muscles and tight neck muscles because of that position. The third thing that we look at is how well the skull sits on top of the actual spine. So we have these 2 lines. We want them to be parallel. This one's actually in a great position. This one's stuck in extension. You want them to be both equally positioned, nice open gap back here. The last thing that we're going to look at is the spacing in between the joints, which most people are familiar with disc tissue. The actual bone being the white, the black space being the disc. They should be nice and equal like you see here, here, here. But in this gentleman, you'll notice that it starts to thin out right there, and we do notice some degeneration or bony change. These would be bone spurs starting to develop in this individual.
Marvin. So how did you find out about our office?
So my sister Roxana was the one that, my sister works at Orange State Fitness, and she's the one that told me about the doctor, and I came through, and it's been great ever since then.
Awesome. Well, what made you want to start under care with us?
Oh, my back was just terrible. I needed to find somebody ASAP to fix the pain, and just I needed adjustment, and ever since then it's been going great.
Awesome. So since you started, how has everything changed with your back?
Oh, my life has changed completely. My back is better. I can run better now. I can exercise more comfortably. I sleep better. I get to enjoy my life a lot better. So there's been lots of improvements. So it's going well.
Awesome.
Can't complain.
Awesome. Thanks, Marvin.
Absolutely.
All right, well, welcome. We are excited today. We've got a special guest, Dr. Brad Gorski. He is a functional medicine doctor in Charleston, South Carolina, and he's getting very well known for a lot of his hormone work. He has high-end clients from all over different parts of the world, and he's one of the people that I go to when I have questions about complicated scenarios or complicated cases. And I thought it would be great to have him talk about some of his fasting knowledge, maybe some case studies or things that he's found to work or maybe not work with some of the more complicated cases or even hormone-related cases that he has. So welcome to the show. Hey, great to have you here.
Yeah, there you go. Love it.
So all right, tell us a little bit about fasting, when you started talking about it, using it, and what that looks like in your practice.
Yeah, so, it's interesting. I wish I could tell you I was smart enough to realize that fasting is great. Like anything, it's a tool. And if you use the tool the right way, it can make amazing change in people's lives. So I didn't learn it that way. I kind of unfortunately got sick, and literally I started fasting because I had no other option. I couldn't eat food. I couldn't do things. So I literally started fasting because my body was telling me to fast. That's how I began to heal from an autoimmune issue I had. I moved into a home that had mold and kind of kept getting sicker and sicker and sicker. Yeah. Although I was doing natural alternatives and taking care of myself and taking supplements, and that stress of being in a moldy home just kept weakening my body, and I had a massive stroke at 27. Went through the process to heal from the reason I had the autoimmune problem. That's how I got into fasting, is that for a while as I was on my journey to get well, literally I figured out fasting it was the only way I could survive. Wow. And that's how I started getting well.
Okay. And when you say you learned about it or you had no other option, did you start researching it, or did somebody bring it up, or how did it look when you realized it?
So this was probably back in 2014, 15 when I really started using it with my clients, and I started using it. I just kind of really started looking at what I did, and I started realizing I'd wake up in the morning, I had an autoimmune issue, I had problems with my thyroid, my adrenals were shot, extreme fatigue, and I started realizing that I'd wake up in the morning, I'd eat crazy healthy. You could name it, I'd make a smoothie, like coconut milk, like berries, whatever it was, and I was eating in the morning and I was throwing up. And so after a while, I just realized that I could not function if I tried to eat before 1 o'clock.
Wow.
So, my body was kind of giving me the signal. So, once I started realizing hey, now I'm skipping meals, and there's part of our mindset and psychology that's hey, this is not good. You're not eating. You're sick. You need to eat. And then you started diving into fasting and realizing, man, I'm basically fasting every day. That's how I started getting myself better. And I was skipping breakfast. I was starting my lunch maybe 1 or 2-ish. I'd have my breakfast, or I'd break my fast. Maybe some kind of small snack, and then I'd have a huge dinner. And that's literally how I started getting myself better after I was sick.
Wow. And did you know that this was helping you at the time? Because you always hear breakfast is the most important meal of the day, all day long, from your mom or your grandma or whoever was telling you that.
Yeah. I think there's two things. I think obviously, again, let's go back to this. I think with fasting, we have block fasting, then we have also intermittent fasting. Yeah. So that fasting is a tool, I tell people. Yeah. Okay. And any tool, we just got to make sure we use it the right way. Yeah. So fasting can look different for someone who has adrenal thyroid issues than someone who is also maybe a male or a female. Yeah. So there's different ways we can intermittent fast depending on what people's hormones are telling us. And, they have blood sugar problems. You don't start with a big old fast. Yeah. So, fasting again is a tool. But, I think partly, did I know it was helping me? Kind of. I think it was one of those things innately. I think my body kind of knew it was. Yeah. But then once I really started understanding and quantifying, this is what I'm doing, I'm man, I'm intermittent fasting. And then I really started diving into tweaking how I was doing it, and then also adding in block fasting. And so fasting, I would kind of suggest to people who are watching today, it should be a tool in their toolbox they're using every week and month of their life. It's just something that should become a part of what their lifestyle regimen is.
Okay. So in the functional medicine world then, where does this fall in your protocol? Say somebody is brand new, they call you up and they have an issue that they want to deal with, and they ask you, should I start fasting? Do you take them through some other steps first and then approach fasting? Or can they start it at any point during it and see the benefits?
Yeah, I think it depends on how educated or advanced that person is. I mean, I have some of my clients and we jump right into that first number one.
Really?
And the reason why it's almost like it's a healing modality they haven't used. And we can talk a little bit about this. One of the reasons why fasting works so well is it begins to downregulate the good and the bad bacteria in the gut. So right away, we start changing the bacterial expression in your gut by skipping meals.
Yeah.
So if I have someone who's allergic to everything, they're sensitive to everything, one of the things sometimes we do is we start fasting right away just because they begin to see an improvement right away.
Mm-hmm.
So to kind of answer your question, everyone's a little bit different, but the other thing we do is even if it's not maybe like a longer fast, we may start with like a 24-hour fast. Or what we can talk about this too is we start with what I would call more of an intermittent fast, where I also just start looking at like when they wake up, when are they putting food in their mouth?
Yeah.
When are they stopping? What does that window look like? And we start closing the window to start.
Yeah.
Because we could talk more about this is, for someone to get into like more of a metabolic range where they're actually physically burning more fat for energy instead of like kind of this like sugar mode. Again, we kind of got to be away from food for about 16 hours. And that's ideal. But so like we can start with people and kind of we can talk a little more about those specifics.
Yeah, cool. So because we would always see people as well, as soon as they started intermittent fasting, they would lose weight and they would talk about how great they feel. And they would talk about, they used to freak out if they were 20 minutes late for dinner. Or if they're used to eating at, noon and then it's 12:20, they were so hungry that they were cranky and they were angry. But once they started doing this, they realized I can go for hours without eating. So if I'm 20 minutes late for a meal, it's not a big deal. Or if I have to wait an extra 30 minutes to eat something healthy instead of just grabbing something quick, it's not that big of a deal, right? So if you now break down compliance from what you've seen. So this is something that I've had issues with when I talk to patients about it, is the idea of going long periods of time without eating for them. From a social setting or from a craving perspective, or they want to eat late at night while they're watching TV, or somebody offers them something, or there's donuts at work, or whatever the scenario is, the compliance side of it seems to be more difficult. It's sounding like, and you correct me if you disagree with this, but the science on the benefits of intermittent fasting is pretty good now.
It's amazing.
But the compliance rate is not very good.
Yeah, and I think it's also too because people, they have misconceptions about fasting. So like when people I coach with, I look at their food, I look what they're doing, and then I'm like, well, hey, when we talk about fasting, let's also talk about this, because sometimes I see people who do the fast right. They don't break it right. So what they do is they fast, and then they're eating and nibbling the small meal. It's like, no. When we fast, I also call it should also be feast and famine cycles.
Okay.
So what I also see too is people start fasting. Then what they start doing is they start restricting all their calories. They're even like when they do break their fast, they're still eating too few calories. And now, yes, we get cravings. We actually start slowing down our metabolism. So the other thing is when we don't eat, we don't eat. But when it's time to eat our food in our window, I tell people like the other key is that I see people do wrong. They don't eat enough during that window.
Right.
So again, no food, famine, and then we feast. People don't feast. So they're famining it and then famine. So that's where we can get in trouble, slowing our thyroid, affecting our adrenals if we don't do it the right way, because they're not actually like feasting. And we can also talk about this too. Fasting works because what we're doing is we're asking the body to, again, we only have about 1,000 or 1,200, stores of glycogen or sugar in our muscles. So that goes quick.
Yep.
So the idea is in fasting, we want to use our body's fat stores. And once we access those, we could fast for 10 days if our body's pulling that fat from our body. So the other thing is looking at those meals that people are having. What I say too is if people are eating those meals and I'm seeing like way too high of carbs in those meals or not enough fat, they're maybe not eating enough. So it takes a little bit of time. It can take 4 to 6 weeks for people's body to start getting real effective fasting.
Yeah.
Once that happens, you're right. These cravings things stop.
Okay. All right. And what should you be using to break your fast? Or what should, maybe a better question, what should you not do to break your fast? So say you started eating again at 1 o'clock and you're just nibbling a bit. Is there a carbohydrate, protein, fat breakdown that seems to be better?
Yeah, so I think it depends on if we're doing longer fasts. So let's just say we do a block fast, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days.
Just water.
Or we could even do a modified fast where maybe someone's doing 500 calories for 4 days.
Okay.
Like, so there's different types of fasts we could jump into. But what I would say is when we look at those fastings, like the longer you go, when you break those fasts, you want to start with things that are very easy to digest. You don't want to be doing like a huge steak because your digestive system just was off for 3 or 4 days. Yeah. We don't just introduce it with it. So when we talk about breaking fast, I think the thing is with an intermittent fast, I mean, we could do a little bit of fat, protein, carb. I think is good. A good mix. I always tell people, you don't want all carbs, no protein, all fat, no. So I always like a little bit of mix. So that way we're getting some fiber, some good protein, some good carb. It's the best way to do it. And also starting with a smaller meal to break that fast. And then again, within that maybe 8-hour window or 6-hour window, it's considered our eating window. Then again, that second meal usually I always tell people is a bigger meal we want to go with.
Get all your calories in that period.
For sure. Or a good majority of them for sure.
Okay, so now let's maybe go into the male versus female fasting window, because I know you've brought this up and I don't hear very many people talking about it. So if you're a male or a female, what are some things that you need to think about when you're beginning to fast, whether it's a block fast or some sort of modified fast or intermittent fasting?
Yeah, I think number one, let's remember we have different hormones. So my couples that start with me, usually the wife gets mad at the husband because the husband's losing so much.
I've seen that a lot too. That's very, very true.
So that doesn't mean the women can't lose. We just have to remember that their hormones are different.
Yeah.
And so, I guess what I mean by that is so with men, them going to intermittent fasting every day, maybe even them, and I see this occasionally when I see some of my women who do really well. My women will get to a 6-hour window of eating.
Yeah.
So again, let's say their first meal's at noon. They're done at 6 p.m.
Yeah.
Now, again, it takes time for them to develop that. But what I also tell women, too, is one of the best things we know about women is because their hormones are different. I also tell women I don't like them intermittent fasting all the time consistently, every day. For women, I like to alter it. And so what we're kind of finding what works better with women's hormones is if you're doing a 6-hour window, where you're in that eating window. Now, again, if we close it to a 6-hour or an 8-hour window, maybe they do need 4 meals during that time. And I think that can be okay. But I tell them too, we got to have a little bit of fat in every one of those meals. So we got to give them that fat so their body kind of gets used to burning that.
Yeah.
Once that process starts happening, the cravings drop, blood sugar balances. Yeah. And again, I'll give you a story. One of my clients we were working with, she's pretty educated. She's worked with a nutritionist 6 years. Mm-hmm. And so she's a nurse. She's pretty educated. Eating clean, paleo-ish. I wouldn't say there's a whole lot wrong with what she was doing. Was it perfect? I think perfect's different for people.
For sure.
But I was looking at what she was doing and she had a normal blood sugar. It wasn't under 120 in almost 6 years. Yeah. So one of the first things we did with her is I was like, well, hey, I looked at what she was doing. I literally, for her morning routine, instead of doing cream, we literally added 1 to 2 teaspoons of coconut oil.
Okay.
That was it. So we started that with her, her fast.
Yeah.
And literally closed her an 8-hour window. Within 2 days, she had an 86 blood sugar. She had lowest in 6 years.
Wow.
Again, just the difference of a cream and a coffee versus those healthy fats.
Yes.
Man, kept that blood sugar balanced.
Yep.
And man, it was a huge difference. She went on to lose probably 30 or 40 pounds, but it had to do a little bit with closing her windows. So her food was right. The window was wrong.
Yep.
And then in those windows, again, making sure we're getting those fats to keep her full. Yep. We can talk a little more about that too. Where people struggle too is if that dinner is too clean. Chicken breast, broccoli. Yep. I'm not against that. I always tell people, where's your fat to keep you full?
Yeah.
So what happens, they run out of the protein, they run out of the carbs quicker because those, if you think about kind of like gas in a car, carbs and protein are equivalent to putting 4 to 5 gallons of gas in your car.
Okay.
Give me molecule fat, now we're looking at 10.5 to 11
and
gallons of gas.
Good fats you're talking about too.
100%.
Yeah, so the type of fat matters. But fat needs to be there.
Yeah, and I would say, I think in the beginning, I like people to start with the MCT oils. they're easy to digest.
Yeah.
They break down into ketones quick.
Yeah.
Monounsaturated fats, your olive oils. Coconut oil can be another good option. Your grass-fed butter. So those are good options. Avocado oils. But typically, we know that like the medium chain triglycerides, they do, again, they're just easy to absorb. So they can help in the process a little bit quicker.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, very good. Well, maybe let people know where they can find your website, or if they want to contact you. What does that look like for them?
Yeah. The best places is always to go to my website, drbradgorski.com. Okay. So we got a lot of great resources there. If they go to our website, we have articles on there. We even have a tab at the very top. It has a thyroid tab. They can go there. I have a whole hour and a half workshop I put all about autoimmune thyroid, how that all works, and kind of to give people a roadmap of how to start even just give them information. I've had people watch that and literally message me. I have a lady who literally not too long ago messaged me. She's lost almost 125 pounds. I've never come to my office.
Wow.
She watched the video.
Yeah.
And she she came in our office one day and she's like, I want to show you this. She's like, I want to show you this. She had like a whole stack of notes. It was like a notebook. She's like, everything I've learned from just watching your video like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times.
Wow.
And I lost 125 pounds.
Wow.
So there's amazing information there. So that'd be the best place to go.
Cool. All right. Well, I appreciate all the info. Hope you guys learned something. Dr. Brad Gorski.
Hey there, my name is Heather Arthur. I am the office manager here at Columbia Family Chiropractic. Just wanted to give you a little bit of background of myself and where I originally came from. I came from a small town right outside of Boston, Massachusetts, where I worked as a practice manager for 6 years at one of the leading top hospitals for the state. I worked in the orthopedic department, managed multiple different surgeons and PAs, along with staff. We actually ended up relocating down here due to my husband's job, and we enrolled the boys in schools, and we are absolutely loving it. That brings me to why I decided to join Columbia Family Chiropractic. I, over the years, have developed a passion for healthcare and improving the wellness and well-being of all patients, all different ages, shapes, sizes, you name it. I look forward to my job each and every day to make a positive impact on one's experience. During my time as being a practice manager, just for orthopedics, but also bringing my talents here, I want to develop a well-oiled machine, as if you would. Want to be sure that our patients get the experience that they deserve, they get the attention that we focus on, and to provide the utmost customer service, understand that we are all about helping them and making sure that they understand the importance of life and just getting them on a better path. With all that being said, my staff, I really look to highly train in all the HIPAA, patient confidentiality, all of the budgets, staying within the budgets. We want to make sure that everybody here is on the same page, communication, you name it. I want to be a part of it and I want to help us grow. Just not myself, but our patients and what we care about the most. So as a result of everything that I just mentioned, I want to make sure that each and every one of you have a memorable experience here at Columbia Family Chiropractic. And if there's anything that I can do for you on the back end, I am giving you my 110% attention. Thank you.